back to your virtual tea time. My name is Tori, and today we have Donna Taylor joining us. Hi, Donna.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Super excited.
So for those of you who listened to episode 41, which had Tracy O'Malley on it, the Enneagram expert, we recorded that episode recently, and Tracy came in and she couldn't stop saying so many nice things about you and your women's clinics that you're doing. And I'm like, well, I know Donna because I used to play with Donna. So what is going on? First of all, tell us about the journey, how you started playing golf, and then we're going to get into all the good things, including the yoga, the women's clinics, and everything. Yes. So how'd you get started with golf?
So when I was 7 years old, I was introduced to golf by my dad, who played on the PGA Tour. And he played in 1969 and 1970 out on tour. And he had a sponsor, and he would miss the cut by a stroke, get in the car with my mom, drive to the next tournament, maybe make the cut, maybe not. They'd Monday morning qualify back then. Mm-hmm. And he just, after like 2 years, he's like, I'm over it. And he lost his sponsor. And he became a head pro at a municipal golf course, which is very much like Dobson Ranch. Like, you know, just average people, good vibe, just really great place. Mm-hmm. And he had a very large junior golf program, 250 kids.
Wow.
Really amazing.
And back in the day, too.
Back in the day, they were the only junior golf program in town. And honestly, it's like one of his pride and joy. And he was on the Northern California Junior Golf Association board. He was like president, super huge on giving back to junior golf. So I learned when I was 7 and pretty much fell in love with it and have been playing since then. So for 45 years, I've been playing golf.
So tell us now, you played high school golf? Did you play in college? Tell us about that journey. Give us
Yes. So I played in our little junior golf program, which wasn't really that competitive. It's more about fun. Mm-hmm. I have so many memories, we would play these little sweeps every week where, depending on your age, you'd go out and play. Like at 8 years old, I'd play 2 holes. And so all of us would go out and we'd laugh and just have fun. And so it started out being really fun. And then when I turned about, I would say 12, that's when I really started competing. Like, I really want to do this. And so I started playing in the Northern California Junior Golf Association. And I loved it. I made so many friends doing that. It was just an incredible time. Mm-hmm. And then I did play high school golf. And what's really interesting is now there's junior girls golf teams in high school.
Yeah.
There was no girls golf team like when I played.
Yeah.
But what was very cool is we had a lot of high name players in the Bay Area. Like Pat Hurst is one of my friends. Jean Zedlitz, she didn't continue on, but a lot of people went and played college golf. So when I was a freshman, we had 3 girls on the golf team. So we had, out of 6 starters, we had 3 girls. And one thing that we learned is we cannot put 2 girls in one group. I just remember being really an innocent freshman, and we were paired with these guys, and they were just like hitting on us the whole time. And we're like, our games were a mess. We're like, what's going on here? Like, we just weren't used to that.
Because there was no girls team. So you just had to be with all the boys. I mean, it was co-ed by default.
Absolutely.
Because it was the only place for you guys to play.
So I learned a lot about guys versus girls. Like, girls cry on the golf course, at least when you're a teenager. Like, I would cry.
Still cry.
Yeah.
There are times.
Yeah. Like, I'm a crier too. Like, not so much more because I don't take it really serious and I don't really compete very much. But guys, I mean, the tempers that they showed, especially when a girl beats them. So I learned it at a very young age. And then the second year, Jean graduated and Jenny and I were on the team. And then my freshman year, I was the only girl. And then my sister, who also plays golf, we were on the team together my senior year. So it's changed a lot with high school golf for sure.
Yeah. And how about college? Did you continue to play through college?
Yeah. So I started playing in AJGA events. It was relatively new back then. It wasn't really hard to get into AJGA events. Now it's really hard.
What does AJGA stand for?
American Junior Golf Association. Okay. So it's kind of like the high level elite tour for junior golfers, where you travel all over the country and you play in these tournaments. And back then you had to just be, I think, like a 3 or 4 handicap. Now you have to qualify, and it's apparently a big deal.
Yeah.
Back then, it didn't feel too much like a big deal. It just felt like, hey, I want to elevate my game, and I want college coaches to recognize me. So that was pretty much the reason why I did that.
Well, and I think I've heard now too, players that are in high school don't even play in the high school team anymore. They just play in those events if they're that good.
That's right.
You know,
I still played
high school teams all together.
Yeah, I think that is the way that it is. It's gotten so just you're really putting in a ton of time. And I never really cared for that aspect.
So what did golf bring to your life in those early years then?
Oh my gosh. So just even junior golf in Northern California, like I run a lot of events now, and I am kind of like a fun party leader. And I look back and it's like, I used to coordinate junior golf events. Like, hey, when it's at my dad's course, like everyone come stay at my house, and we would go out at night. We go to the mall, go to the movies. And it's like, I really am the same person.
Yeah.
You know, just really having fun.
Yeah.
And so those are some of my best years, junior golf. And it's really in my heart to encourage kids. We're members out at Seville, and they have a really good junior golf program out there. And to see all those kids, like my husband and I, we talk about it all the time. Like, this is so cool to see all these kids and see how excited they are about golf.
Yeah. No,
I love it.
That's great. And I'm sure now, fast forward, you're running these incredible women's golf events, clinics, and your yoga classes, and they're probably having the same enthusiasm as the junior golfers did too.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, it's amazing what has happened with golf.
Yeah.
I mean, we played golf together, I believe it was 2020 at Tatum Ranch when I met you. And I didn't want to teach golf at all. Like, I'm not teaching golf. I'm a yoga teacher. I have no desire to teach golf. I used to do that, and I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot changed with that COVID.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
So we met. So you started teaching. When did you start teaching? Way before then. Okay.
So the story is, I was recruited and I played golf at the University of Arizona.
Wildcat. Yeah. Okay.
Are you a Wildcat?
No, my sister is. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love the Wildcats. My husband played baseball for the Wildcats, so we're really big Tucson people.
Yeah.
But I played there for 5 years. I had a 5-year ride to play golf there. And like I said, I come from a really fun background. My mom's mom was a very high profile competitive golfer. So I kind of have this golf thing on both sides of my genes. And I was never a big practicer. Like, I would go out and hustle guys and play for money, go out and just hit minimal balls and just play like just little pickup games.
Yeah.
Like, that's really my jam.
Yeah.
I love to do that. And so when I went to the U of A, I had to play golf on Mondays and Wednesdays. And I was on the team that had to do that. And then chipping and putting Tuesday, Thursdays. And if I went back home, I had to fax my scorecards in. And I'm just like, what is all this? Like, I don't like this at all.
Yeah.
Then my roommate is going to sorority parties. And it's like, I can't go do anything. So I'm like, after a year, I hate golf and I never want to play it again. Like, I've had a couple breakups with golf.
Yeah.
And that was the first one that I had.
Freshman year.
So I played a year. And my parents told me, if you get a full ride scholarship, you can pick whatever car you want. And so I'm like, I'm getting a Honda Prelude. So I had a 1989 Honda Prelude that was amazing with my Alpine speakers. Like, I would just jam the Beastie Boys driving out to the golf course. And that was like my life. And then I just was like, I never want to play golf again.
Did you have to give the Prelude back?
Nope.
No? So you got the Prelude.
I got the Prelude.
You stopped golfing. Did you could continue to go to U of A?
No. So I came home, and then my dad said, I have so many ladies coming into my golf shop that want female instructors. I'm teaching you how to teach because you can make $50 an hour and I need you. I'm like, okay, I like being around golf.
Yeah.
I just don't want to play it. Yeah. And I want to just have fun. Like, I'm, 19 years old. Like, I want to have a good time. So he spent years working with me. This is what beginner ladies do. This is how to correct it. This is why they're doing it. And just we would work in groups. We would have rec groups. And I mean, I feel like I have the best training that money could buy. And I still have my dad as a reference if I'm stumped or something isn't making sense. I can send him a video and say, do you agree with what I think is going on here? And we talk about it. So that's kind of how I got into teaching golf. And I really did love it.
So how long did you teach in that stint, and when did you transition into golfing as an amateur again?
I taught for about 7 years teaching golf. And I'm really an athlete. I think you're a super athlete as well, right?
Love it.
And so I like to do everything. So I'm like, I'm going to play soccer. And I played soccer in high school and basketball. So I'm like, I'm going to play soccer and teach golf. And I blew out my knee. So I have this lovely issue with my knee. And so I had kind of stopped playing golf at that point. And I couldn't do anything. So I'm like, I'm just going to go out to the golf course and chip and putt. You know, at least I can do something. I don't want to sit on the couch.
Yeah.
So I'd go out there, and one of our pros said, hey, you know, there's this really cool event in Northern California. It's called the Toyota Team Challenge. And it was in 1999. And he's like, what the event is it's a male pro, a male amateur, and a female amateur from courses. And you would go play other teams, 9 holes on TV. And I was like, yeah, they said, you got to get your handicap again, because I really didn't have one.
Yeah.
So I went out, got my handicap again. And the 3 of us, Bob, Jeff, and myself, we dominated. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so that's what really got me back into golf again.
Like it gave you the bug again.
Oh, I felt kind of bad because these guys were really good. And I was just like getting pars. And I'm like, I feel so bad. Like I'm not getting any birdies. And you get interviewed when you get a birdie, like, hey, Tori, what happened? And I'm like, I want an interview. But they said, hey, you're steady, you're getting your pars. And that lets us really kind of be a little bit reckless to try and get birdies.
Yeah.
So we teamed it really well. And it really got me back into golf the first time.
So that was 1999. And then
Then I moved to Arizona in 2001. I knew nobody here. Well, I knew Pat Hurst. Like I knew her, and I knew another guy, Doug Brook. He had worked for my dad, and he was a teaching pro at Talking Stick. Aside from those 2 people, I didn't know anybody here. And then Pat would leave because she plays on tour. And so I would only get to see her like maybe January through February. I mean, really not much time. And just started going out and playing golf a little bit. And then I joined Seville in 2008, started playing a little bit. And then I, again, had a breakup where I'm like, I just want to do yoga. And I just stopped playing golf almost altogether.
Yeah.
For almost 10 years.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
And then we met at Tatum Ranch.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I'd see you around for a couple team events and whatnot. And you're still such a good player.
Thank you.
And did you get those competitive juices going again during that last stint of playing, or not really?
It's funny because I do love to compete, but I really have been there and done that. That's kind of like how I feel. And I really feel like if I focus too much on competing, it really pulls the love of the game away from me. So I still love to compete on a weekend with my husband and I, playing 2 guys who don't think that we can beat them. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. I love playing golf with my husband. I love playing golf with my mom. Not too much competing. I play in my club championship. I play in my invitational. But for me, golf is just really fun. Yeah. Really fun. And I don't think I would really want to go there because it's a lot of work, as you know. Like it's a lot of practicing. So I think with me teaching ladies, that is really like my thing, where I'm spending a lot of time at the golf course, but I'm not playing a ton. Yeah.
All right, let's get into it then. So first, when I first met you, there was really a lot of golf and yoga, and you were doing, I mean, how would you say it? Yoga for golfers? Was it that specific at that time, or was it just teaching yoga classes?
Well, when I met you, it was COVID, and that is really a crazy time because the yoga that I do, I have actually 2 brands for yoga. one brand is that I work with sports teams. So Higley Football is my team that I've worked with for 7 seasons, and we won the state championship in December, and it was absolutely thrilling.
Yeah.
I love working with these kids. So I'm a yoga coach for sports teams. I've worked with Warren Wheat, who is a retired NFL guy, 55 years old, really, was on the line for the Seattle Seahawks and just really broken down body. I helped him quite a bit. So that aspect, like kind of serious, like I'm here to help you, teach you mental strength, injury prevention. And then another aspect was that I started doing party style yoga with the community in Gilbert. And again, that's my other side. Like I love to have fun.
Yeah.
So I started doing that in 2017 alongside with being a yoga coach. Like both brands were like completely on the rise at the same time. It was a really interesting time. And I mean, I did a lot more with Yoga Party Live, I think. And that was just, 135 people at Whiskey Row. The news would come.
Wow.
I'm on stage. Like, this is so much fun. And like really building a community of women who want to do something on the weekend, want to do something that could be healthy. If they don't want to have cocktails, a lot of people want to have cocktails. Other people don't. They want to connect with the community and just really have a safe place to do yoga where it's like, hey, this isn't about fancy yoga. If your yoga looks great, wonderful. But if you're a grouch, we really don't want you. We are more towards the people. Yeah, we're all about good vibes.
Yeah.
And if you don't do yoga and your yoga isn't technically, sound, but you're having fun and you aren't hurting yourself, we want you.
Yeah.
So we're really more about the non-yogi people. And I love offering that to people because they feel that they can't do it.
What about those Yoga Party Live? That's what about it is different other than that though? So do you have music? I mean, to me, I'm envisioning music blasting and you're teaching. I mean, 135 people, that's a lot of people.
That's so fun. It's so fun. The music is very loud. So I will put a disclaimer and say, if you are here for a chill Zen class, you are absolutely in the wrong place. And I apologize beforehand. But we have very loud music, but I'm mic'd up so they can hear my voice. We do partner poses in the middle of our classes, which we could do one. I believe I did one.
We did one
on the golf course.
The golf course. Oh, yes. And I will be showing it again.
Yeah.
It will. I mean, it comes back about once a year. I show it.
Yeah.
So
partner poses. And partner poses are wonderful because we didn't really know each other very well.
Yeah.
Okay. But we're doing partner poses together. Sometimes you're holding hands. Sometimes you have your feet on someone. I think that's the one I was doing with you. Yep. And it just really bonds the group. And it's very fun. Yeah. And that's what its intention is. Let's just like connect people. There just needs to be more connection.
No, absolutely. So that was back in 2017, you said?
Yeah, that's when it started. And it's honestly still going. I mean, we do paddleboard plus yoga, kayak plus yoga. We do a yoga retreat once a year. There's just so many things. And people really want me to do a lot of yoga. And I'm like, I'm going to give you one Saturday or Sunday a month. And that's all I'm doing.
Well, that's why they keep coming back. They're craving you. They're craving the Yoga Party Live.
It's a good time.
It is.
I can see why they love it, but I'm really like focused more on my golf right now. So that's a hard thing.
So transition into Golf Party Live.
Yeah.
How did that form? Tell us about it.
Such an interesting story. So I would say for 10 years, as I was a yoga teacher, people wouldn't see pictures of me playing golf because I wasn't playing, but people knew. So they were like, hey, will you teach me how to play golf? And that's a lot of work. I mean, it is. I really feel like beginners are the hardest people to work with because they need to know everything. This is a golf club, it's like a foot. Here's the sole, here's the toe, here's the heel. Like, people ask, I really have to be mindful that they know nothing about golf and to make them feel very comfortable. So I knew what was involved to teach people golf. And so I would just say, no, I don't teach golf anymore. I even told someone, I'm not a golfer. I don't play golf. I'm a yoga teacher. And so they were and shame on me. Honestly, I will never do that again. It's honestly, I learned my lesson. This is my heritage. This is what I need to be doing. So after like so many people asking me, my esthetician, Michelle Campbell, was like, I want you to teach me to play golf. I said no. And she plotted and put on Facebook on Go Gilbert, I believe it was Go Gilbert, will someone please refer me to a local female golf instructor who will teach me how to play golf? And I was like, I call her up, Michelle, fine. I will teach you how to play golf, but here's what we're going to do. I'm not teaching you one-on-one. We are going to get together 10 ladies and I will teach all of you together. And I will do this for you. And she's like, wonderful. 5 minutes filled up. And then I'm like, okay, since I'm already out there, and it was June 6th, middle of the heat, I'm going to do another one. So I did one beforehand, 5 minutes filled up. I'm like, this is crazy. Like people I don't even know. Like these are Facebook people.
And what were you calling it and were you saying this is for women only?
Oh, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel, and people ask me that all the time. Will you teach a guy? And it's like, you know what? Guys have enough options.
Yes.
Like ladies don't have a lot of female options. There are some, but I just feel like that's my calling. So beginner ladies golf clinics is what I was calling it. And what I realized is that a lot of my yoga party ladies, they're the same person. They want to have fun. They're active women. They want community. They want connection. And it was like, it really makes me wonder that if that's not why that whole yoga happened to drive the golf. I mean, I still don't know why it happened, but it's the most incredible thing. Like I'm teaching 60 ladies a week right now, and I have like 30 people on my waiting list, and it's just hard. Like you want to take them all, but you can't do it all.
Sounds like you're ready to scale some way.
And with yoga, I'm able to hire teachers. I have 4 teachers that I hire to teach. I teach bachelorette yoga in South Scottsdale for vacation rental homes. And that's another aspect of Yoga Party Live.
Okay, wait. Bachelorette yoga. So they hire you, you go to the house where they're all going, enjoying their bachelorette weekend.
Yep.
And you're going to teach them an hour yoga class right there at the house.
And I get the coolest people. And
they're like ready to go. They're not like totally hungover. And I mean,
here's what I've learned.
Okay.
The earlier in the weekend, a Friday morning is the best odds to have the best class.
Yeah, we're not going Sunday.
Yeah.
At 8
Sunday,
no.
I will tell them I will be there. But it is not a good idea. I've had really poor
participation
and just energy. So the later in the day and the later in the weekend is it either gets crazier or it's just a no-go.
Yeah.
But it's really fun. Apparently, I didn't even know it. Scottsdale's the #1 destination for bachelorettes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we have 400 vacation rental homes that refer Yoga Party Live to bachelorettes that come in. And they're the coolest girls.
Yeah.
The coolest girls.
Okay, so I'm not, going back to golf, I'm not surprised one bit that your beginner golf clinics for women sell out in minutes. It is
crazy.
So underserved. So walk us through a clinic. Like what do you do? Like someone showing up for the very first time. What does it look like? What does it feel like? How long is it? What kind of commitment is it? What can they expect?
Yeah, I take between 8 and 12 women for beginner. And 12 sounds like a lot, but honestly, there's my dad and I have done this before together. There's a lot of group teaching that goes on, like a lot of knowledge. So I stand by the golf shop day one because these ladies are
nervous.
They're very nervous. Yeah. They're very nervous. They've never been to a golf course. They don't know where to go. Do I bring clubs? No, I have clubs for you. I have yoga mats for students. It's like kind of my signature thing. Like you don't need anything. You just need to like come and you can wear whatever you want. It's a public golf course. We go over what to wear, but as long as you
give them suggestions, but
I tell them
to be comfortable.
You have to wear a shirt and shoes, and they laugh. But we hang out by the golf shop and we all go over together. I give them a hug when I see them, tell them I'm super excited they're there and we're going to have a really good time. And it's the barrier is fully dropped. within the first 5 minutes that they see like, okay, she's not going to judge me. And everyone says, I'm not good at this. I'm like, you've never done this. Like, nobody's good at this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
people are good at this as they start practicing and knowing more. But it's a really hard game.
Yeah. Okay. So wait, you have yoga mats there. So do you start them off like with yoga or?
No, I'm just saying that when I'm doing a yoga event, I bring yoga
Oh,
mats.
okay. You're talking just events in general or the separate events. Okay.
Yeah.
So they come, what kind of, is it like a 4-week commitment then, once a week?
So I do a 4-week class, and I know people vary it their own way, but the way that I just go how I was trained.
Yeah.
So the way that I was trained is that I work the first day on foundations. So, and I believe as a golf instructor, like my passion as a golf instructor are 2 things. Number 1 is to get ladies to not be spectators and to have them be participants.
Yeah.
If they choose. I've been on vacation so many times with Lady in the golf cart, and it's like she's watching for 5 hours. And if that's what she wanted to do, that's cool. But I want ladies to have opportunities to actually get out and play with whoever they want to play with.
That's so true.
I mean, it gives me goosebumps. Like,
no, absolutely. And there's so many ways to participate very quickly. You know, even just by playing playing in a scramble format, or you start playing each hole from like 50 yards out instead of from the tee boxes.
Yep.
There's so many different ways to just get started participating in those vacation situations right away.
absolutely.
That's a good point.
So that's my first passion. And the second is to give extremely good foundations, especially a grip. I think as a golf instructor, that's the number 1 thing you can do for any student. If that's the only thing they take away, if they have a solid grip, then they're like going to be able to build on that. So I take the first lesson, you know, I tell them, hey, there's going to be a lot of talking, and we're going to hit way more balls the second and third class. But the first class, I would say 45 minutes. I want to know who everyone is, what your experience is with golf. And then I go over, this is a golf club. This, you know, just a little bit of terminology. And then I do grip, stance, position. So pre-shot, like what you look like. And that takes a little bit of time to get to that point. I teach them a swing drill that gets their body moving, gets their shoulders working. And then we probably only hit balls for 15 minutes. And it's like, hey, you guys have learned hardly anything. So let's just hit some balls. And if you connect with the ball, then that is a win. And I'm talking if you hit it 1 inch, that is a win. And so we just start off that way. Second class, I do backswing and how they look at the top. And then the third class coming down, downswing, follow through, and talking about a little bit of the history of golf clubs. I mean, I don't know how long you've been playing, but when I first started playing, we used woodwoods. Like people are like, well, why are they called that? I mean, hybrids, we didn't have hybrids. I mean, our clubs were blades.
Yeah.
I mean, it just completely different. So I talked to them about, you know, how the clubs are different. A lot of people have questions about that.
Yeah.
You know, like, what are all these clubs? How many do I need? How many do I get? You know, just things that we know. And then I end with chipping and putting.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's just 4. And then afterwards, like tomorrow, I have a class that I do. It's a 3-hour class where we do 30 minutes on the golf course. Sorry, an hour and 30 minutes where we go out there. And it's not a normal on-course. Like, if I'm sure your golf instructor, if he did an on-course with you, he would analyze, where is she losing strokes? How can I help her the most? That's like the traditional on-course.
Yeah.
My on-course is like, this is a tee box, and this is where you can tee up, and you can go 2 club lengths back, and you have this whole rectangle. They're like, well, why would you go back? You know, just really interesting questions.
Yes.
And we end up just playing like 1 to 2 holes. We learn something different every single time out there. And then we go into the restaurant the last hour and a half and talk about, I call it Golf 101. So lingo, what's a slice? What's a fade? How do you keep score? You know, what's a handicap? What do you wear? You know?
No, that's great that you do that you go in, because it doesn't all have to be out on the golf course. You can cover so much just by being inside. So this is all at Dobson Ranch?
Well, tomorrow I'm at Lone Tree. So I'm at Lone Tree. That's where I first started. And then it started getting dark earlier because it was becoming like September, October. And so I went to Greenfield Lakes and said, hey, can I teach golf out here? And people normally say yes to me. Yeah. And they're like, no, you can't. And I was like, really? Like I pouted for like 2 days. Like, how can they say no? I have such like a great little thing going. Yeah. But their male golf instructor did not want us out there. So I went out to Dobson and I walked in and they were like, we would love you out here. And I'm like, right on. They are so awesome out there. And so is Lone Tree. They are very much towards women's golf. They love having our ladies out there. And I do think it brings them business because I do see more and more guys kind of like showing up when our weekly golf instruction's going on. And I think it adds some nice appeal to the golf course.
Absolutely. So before we get into how yoga can help the golfers, what's next for Golf Party Live? I mean, you have a product with a lot of demand.
And you know, what's really interesting is in the beginning, I thought, you know what, when I built Yoga Party Live, like, you know, like let's say you were coming to Yoga Party Live and you love it. So now I have a customer. And so each month, like my classes are going to be bigger because you like it. And then you're telling your friends and it's going to build. And so I thought, gosh, with this golf business, like if you're a brand new golfer and you're going to take maybe 2 series with me, you're going to take a beginner and then I do a graduate where we just kind of continue on. How long are you going to take golf lessons? Like you need to get out and play. So I started doing golf play dates, which I was like, I really don't want to do these golf play dates. Like I want to go play Seville with my husband and, you know, I don't really want to go play a 9 and dine type of thing.
Yeah.
And we have
only so much time.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I love it. It's so much fun. Like we theme our play dates. When we show up, like people know we're there. It just is a total blast. We get like 36 players just going out and having fun. So our play dates are a big thing. I'm doing 2 golf retreats, which I know you do golf retreats. My golf retreats are, because I've seen how amazing yours are. Like just, you know, we're going to Scotland in a month and I just standing on that bridge with all those ladies, like what an amazing thing to bring them to the home of golf. But ours are like, we get in the car and we go to Sedona for 3 nights and we go play golf and
perfect.
Just super fun. We do some yoga out there. We are in the hot tub. We have a private chef and it's more like, you know, not as much money, closer where they don't have to take as much time off of work. So we did Coronado in March. We're doing Sedona in August. And next year we're going back to Coronado because we did a really awesome bike ride. Like 16 of us riding bikes.
You're going back for the bike ride.
Right. The bike ride was so amazing. And then we're sitting on the sun deck at the Dell, just trying to like pull out all the most amazing things of the area. And then next year we're going to go to Tahoe, which is really a great area where my uncle has a cabin. We're going to go there, play some golf. And so I think that it could go into more weekend golf retreats, but I don't really know. I really don't know because I didn't see any of what's going on happening.
And you're obviously getting a ton of joy out of it.
Oh, the only thing I don't like about my golf is that I have to be gone from my husband at night. So I will say, honey, it's so busy in March and April and May. Yeah. Do you care if I teach 3 nights a week? That's a lot. I mean, we've been married almost 3 years and it's like, we just want to hang with each other every second. Yeah. So he's like, do it. That's good. And we have a new neighbor who's really fun to hang out with. So they've been watching baseball at night. I'm like, yay.
So you're able to pass them on.
Right.
But okay, so you just don't know. Like you're just going to see where this goes.
I have a little bit of this could possibly be something, but I did an event at Dobson Ranch in April where I did yoga behind the range in this it's like a practice green back there in between 9 and another hole.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, so we were back there. I had 10 girls. We were in the shade and we did golfers yoga. And then we did a 3-hour golf clinic. I think it was 3 hours. Yes, we did 1 hour hitting, 1 hour chipping and putting. And then we went and talked about golf, that 101. And it was really cool. Like I like being unique. I'm really big in being unique. I have a younger sister who, you know, if I'm wearing green, she's going to be wearing green. You know, if I say, you know, a certain term, she's saying that. And that's how little sisters are.
Yeah.
So for me, I love to just be unique and different and not have a lot of copy.
Yeah.
So I think that adding yoga with golf and being able to teach is like a big difference. And I love being able to offer that.
This is quite incredible what you're building. It really is. And I know it's just so underserved, women's golf clinics. I mean, it's really exciting for you.
It's incredible what people tell me, you know, just how they've always wanted to try and how they were scared. One thing that has been very eye-opening is how many ladies are moving to this area or they want to meet a guy. I would say 50% of my ladies want to meet somebody. Like I met my husband on the golf course and it's a great way to meet someone versus in a bar or, you know, people meet online all the time. And there's, you know, some probably, I mean, I don't know. I've never really been online dating.
Yeah.
But I've heard there's some like really sketchy people out there. You meet someone on the golf course, you can learn a lot about their character.
Yeah.
You know, how do they handle themselves? You know, are they buying you a drink? You know, are they being considerate? You know, I don't know, just being really like aware and helpful and as a man.
Well, and for those single ladies out there, I mean, there are places, if you've never seen Dobson Ranch before, I imagine it's all lit up at night.
Oh,
I've never been there at night. I've only been there during the day, but it's all lit up and there's indoor bays. So, or, you know, there's covered bays. So you're able to go to the range till, I mean, what time does it close on Friday?
Like 10 o'clock.
Yeah. And there's food and drinks. So there's places out there like this. It's not necessarily Top Golf. They're real ranges. And you can go there, hit balls, and I'm sure there's lots of opportunities.
It's like Top Golf at a real course.
Yeah.
And it was very surprising to me because when COVID hit, I came back to golf March 2020. That's when I'm like, I have nothing to do and I'm not going to sit around my house. So I'm going to go to the range and I'm going to hit balls every morning. So I would just go out there and hit balls. I'm like, I'm outside.
Yeah.
I'm playing golf. And I played in the skins game out at Dobson it was like April 2020. And it was not the way it is now. Like the bays weren't covered. It really is like a hustler's course, like really good players. And so a lot of my girls were saying, you should go to Dobson Ranch. I'm like, really? Like, I didn't really see anything special about that place. You got to try it. You got to go out there. And when I went out there, I mean, they were like serving us popsicles, like when it's hot. Do you want a popsicle? You know, I mean, they're just like super cool. I forget what else they serve, but they give out all sorts of neat things and they have music playing. But it's still very intimidating for the girls.
Yeah.
So we developed a golf party live players page per their request, where they can communicate with each other. So if they want to go to the range, they can get on there and say, "Hey, I'm going to Dobson at 5 o'clock. Anyone want to go with me?" Because they're scared to go to the range by themselves. And so they now text me pictures on the weekend. They're out playing together. Like all over the place. I mean, I would probably get 4 groups that are out playing, pictures of them playing. And it's just like, look at this. And they're just like, this is so wonderful. We're having so much fun. I mean, it's just like, how can you not love doing that?
No,
I mean, it's really, it brings tears to my eyes. You know, it's a really cool thing.
Really are growing the game. It's amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, let's get into yoga.
Okay.
Oh my God, I love your passion about it. But how does yoga, just right off the bat, help you be a better golfer? What can it do?
So there are so many ways that yoga helps with golf. Obviously, the number one reason that everybody thinks, and it is true, is increasing flexibility and range of motion. So in a golf swing, if you're able to make a really big arc and have a big circle on your backswing and come through, you're going to generate more power.
Yeah.
So just having that range of motion is all around imperative. You can play golf having a small little arc, but you're not going to hit the ball far. So having that range of motion is a big deal. And everyone kind of knows like that's important.
Yeah.
But as you know, having the mental strength to play golf is, I would say, half the battle. And that's where, with me being a yoga coach, I didn't realize that me playing for the U of A and competing at a high level was going to be very valuable to my teams. And I'm now their mental strength coach, which is like really interesting. So yoga teaches you how to be present. And so that's a big deal when you're practicing your yoga, is when you put one point of attention on your breath, it basically, you can't think of anything past or present. So you can't think about, I just effed up that shot, I'm super mad about it, or thinking like, I know you have no problems with this hole, but at Alta Mesa hole 18, it's like,
No, I think it's the worst golf hole in the history of golf.
Because Lynn was telling me, oh yeah, Tori gets up here and she just jams it down the middle like it's nobody's business. I'm like, well, that's not my reality.
Or block it into the water. I'm like, what club do I use on this tee box exactly? Because every club I choose, I somehow get in trouble.
Thank you. That's exactly how I feel. I have tried every club as well.
Can we please explode that hole?
Right.
Let's start over.
It's
okay,
so
that's
hard.
So funny that you brought that
Yeah.
up.
Okay. So with yoga, it will help with that hole to not get ahead. Like I would find myself on 16, because we were members out there for a few years, that I would just be like getting anxious looking towards 18. And so yoga will teach you how to be present, like staying right here.
Okay, so let's get into a yoga class. Meaning, I'm in a yoga class right now. I usually go to hot yoga. Okay. What can I really focus on during that class, knowing that it will also help me on the course? Like what can I do like intentionally?
Okay.
Like I'm going to a hot yoga class. I want to really focus on this and hope that it, seeps into my golf game.
Well, what is very interesting is when I took my yoga certification, so I started with Sumit's yoga, which was hot yoga. It's like, that's all I wanted to do. I want to be a hot yoga teacher. I don't want to do anything else. I just want to teach us hot yoga like it's nobody's business. So I got into that and I realized that it helped me cue. That's why I could teach Whiskey Row really well, 135 people, because I learned how to speak cueing, like really dialing it in. And that's what I learned. But I didn't learn much more than that. Like, why am I saying these cues? Like, what am I trying to accomplish in yoga? So I went back and got my master level yoga certification under Dave and Cheryl Oliver. And when I was doing that training, I got this book, Yoga for Golfers. And I'm like, I want to know everything that is going to help. What is the secret sauce? What is going to help golfers? And I'm reading this book and I'm like, it's yoga. Like literally every pose they're saying to do is what you likely will do in a hot yoga class. There are some that are better than others to do. But honestly, yoga is good for golfers. So by you just stretching out your entire body, I mean, just, from, working in physical fitness that you don't want to not work your legs. You want to work everything.
Yeah.
So with yoga, if you just stretch everything out and you're doing hot yoga, you're getting an all over stretch. So, I mean, that's really important to really focus on that,
But even when they're telling you to focus on your breathing, stay present, you mentioned that earlier.
Yep.
Just those two things too will help stay present, and your breathing will help you on the golf course too.
It will. What happens is, as you practice yoga and you're focusing on your breath, you are learning how to be present. Because if you have never had that training, or you're not practicing that, your mind is kind of scattering. So for however length of your class, 45 minutes an hour, you are present. That's one of the reasons why when you leave, you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so good. And you feel refueled and you feel like you have clarity to really see things. It's because you had that hour where you are not thinking of anything else. So you're practicing almost like you would a chip shot. You're practicing your breathing, you're practicing being present. So then when you go out on the golf course, you are going to be familiar with getting yourself present. And with what I tell my football guys and even my golfers, they're starting to ask, like, what do I do when I'm freaked out? You know, because they're very freaked out.
When you say freaked out, you mean nervous?
Yes.
Okay, because that is very relatable as a golfer. Being nervous, whether you're competing in a tournament or it's just, you know, you're more of a beginner and you're just hitting on the first tee and
everybody's
people watching. Yeah.
So I will, I worked with this gal, her name is Shawnee, and she is a member out at Seville, and she was the Canadian women's basketball, one of the assistant coaches at the Rio Games in the Olympics.
Okay.
And she works with Alina Sharp, who plays on tour, and a lot of athletes on mental strength. And so when I joined Seville, I'm really a transparent person, so I don't really try and like act what I'm not. I was really freaked out about our club championship because I had a really hard go coming back into golf, and I'm playing at Alts Mesa, which I don't like that course from the forward tees. I can never hit a driver.
Yep. Was there a lot of ego involved?
For me?
Yeah.
No, it was fear. It was not ego at all. It was what I identified through this mental strength coach is FOPO, fear of other people's opinions, which I don't really care so much what people think of me, but it's more with sports looking like an idiot. You know, like if you miss a tiny putt or you top a shot on the first hole, oh, well, she should be perfect. She should never do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I still hit some bad shots.
Oh, I top a ball every once in a while.
Yeah.
I creep in, shank a ball,
Yeah.
miss a short putt. I mean, we all do.
Everybody does.
Yes.
So that really, I spent some money working with her, and I thought, well, I can write this off because I can teach this to my football guys. And I wasn't even thinking about doing the golf at that point. But it really helped me identify that I just was very worried about what other people thought, kind of a perfectionist type, just really nervous about competing again and just not really having, I mean, I never practiced when I came back. I just would go play in scrambles and we'd go play with the guys and hustle the guys at Alta Mesa.
So with yoga, does yoga give you as much strength as you need, do you think? Like, does it give you as much strength training as...
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe so at all. And that's one of the things that I love about being more well-balanced. Like, I feel like when I was just a yogi, yoga is the answer to everything, you know, and people will like HIIT training. That's the answer to everything. And I just think it needs to be well-balanced. Like for me, I feel stronger and better than ever. And I do nutritional training, I have a macro coach, and I do 2 days of weight training, and then I do yoga. Yeah. So I think that the yoga is a nice supplement, and it doesn't need to be anything that you do constantly. But I think once to twice a week is really amazing for golfers. I think it could really supplement the workouts that they're doing. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Is there such thing as being too flexible with golf?
That's a great question. There is being too flexible as a yogi, where people will be kind of they have hyperextension, and they can really jack themselves by trying to go too deep. A lot of people in hot yoga really hurt themselves because they're warmed up and they go too deep and they tear their hamstrings at the attachment points on the top. That's a very big injury in hot yoga.
So while the hotness helps, it might make you go too far also.
Yeah. And if you are like really into things, like I kind of think you and I are very similar, where we're like go-getters and we want to go, that hot yoga really attracts those types of personalities. It attracted me. You're involved in that. And it's very much like, get it, you know, I can do it. Kind of like a very militant type of yoga. And I never hurt myself doing it, but a lot of my students, you know, I would tell them, you know, just don't go too far. Yeah. So that would be my advice to you. Just to keep yourself nice and healthy.
Absolutely. How does yoga help with injury prevention? So we see a lot of sore hips in yoga, in golf. So hips, lower back. How can yoga help?
Yeah. So I did some research on the golf swing, and what's really interesting about the golf swing is the books that I read is that it's the most dynamic swing in all of sports. Like, that's a pretty amazing statement.
Yeah.
And then what's interesting is before kind of the rave of COVID bringing golf back, which I really truly believe it revived golf. I feel like it was on the decline. Is that people were just really you can get yourself injured, like playing golf. And the people who are playing were more older folks, retired folks who have time. And so if you think about the equation of people who don't condition to play golf, they're older and they go out, they don't warm up, and then they're just swinging as hard as they can. It's just really a bad recipe for injury. And this research showed that 80% of people hurt their low back if they're playing golf, like just in their lifetime. And I've had my back has gone out, so I would be in that 80%. So yoga really helps with, just keeping yourself stretched out and conditioned. I integrate a lot of twists in my golfer's yoga, a lot of side bends, like just really stretching out the lats, the upper back, just really getting into the low back is a big deal.
And basically prepping your body for such a dynamic swing.
Exactly. People don't even warm up and they just step up, especially men. I did a couples golf clinic the first time last Thursday because these girls were like, will you do this?
Yeah.
In one day, 4 separate couples approached me individually. Will you do a couples golf clinic? I'm like, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's why I never know really what's going to be happening. And the difference between working with men and women, and I have worked with both, but I'm like, wow, like it's right there in front of you, man, woman, just the crazy strength of grip and how hard they swing at the ball. I mean, it's just such a difference.
Yeah.
So those guys, men really need yoga, I think, more than women. I mean, they are tighter by nature. They have more muscle, so they're going to have less flexibility. Really, like I feel like they're more tense. Like whenever I work with them. But everybody needs
in the yoga studio.
Oh, exactly.
But I have to say, it is growing. Like when I go to yoga class now, which is not that much, maybe a couple times a year I go to yoga classes, the ratio between men and women are getting more even. There's definitely more men in there than there used to be. Well, so that brings us to what I want to do next, which is we're going to do like 10 to 15 minute, or can it be less than that, or 10 to 15 minute kind of warm up?
Yeah, I can do a quick little warm up,
that listeners can do before their golf rounds, like get their body ready.
I would love to do it. Yeah, I'm very passionate about that.
Perfect. So let's wrap up this episode. Where can everyone find you to sign up for your golf party live, for your yoga party live? Tell us all the details.
Okay. So I have websites, so golfpartylive.com and yogapartylive.com, and we're on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm very much into, if you reach out to me when you did, I get right back to people. So I'm very much about that. You won't be waiting a day unless I'm on vacation, but I typically even check when I'm on vacation.
We can't help ourselves.
I know. It's really hard.
Well, and just some insight. I see the passion that Donna has about this, about Golf Party Live. I mean, Golf Party Live especially, and working with women and doing these clinics. So if you are on the fence right now about going out there this summer, getting started, being in one of these clinics, do it now, because I have a feeling this thing is going to blow up. I think there's some really exciting things coming your way.
Well, and you know what I love about it too? I feel like people say, well, what kind of group is it? What kind of ladies do you have? And I honestly have the age of 18 to 75. And I have all ability levels. Some ladies who don't work out and who are, just not very athletic. Some who are, they played in college a different sport, all nationalities. The common thread is that all the ladies who we attract, and I think it's because of the name, they are super cool.
Yeah.
It's the common thread is like good vibes and super cool people. Out of like 250 people, there's like one lady that I didn't like out of everyone.
So there's one.
There's always
1 out of 250. That's pretty good odds.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'd love to have anyone who wants to learn and join our group.
All right, great. And all the information is in the show notes too. All right, let's get started. Let's do a stretch. So anyone that's looking, you can look at the show notes to see the pre-round warm-up that we're going to do, and it will also be on our YouTube channel. Thanks, Donna, for being here today.
I appreciate it.